Wow. And you just thinking about, my father, he worked like 20, I know, 8 years in the same company, and his father is like much more. And we're moving so much faster. And, I'm talking to lots of people about innovation. And I think that one of the most important part of being um, satisfied is the fact that your capacity to give and to contribute to your work is so much more, because other than the fact that you're focused, you have more ideas and you are more I know, content, and you're not losing energy on things that might not work for you. And then and if they're open to it in the company, you could express so much more of your talents than just doing your job. That's it, done, going home at 5, whatever. And it's so important for people to see it much more than just ROI. ROI is just, it's like, the bottom line is important, but if you want to innovate and to create something new, you will never get it from a resentful employee. Never ever.
Absolutely. We really have to humanize the conversation. And that's the best way you're going to retain employees. You're going to get better output. You're going to get better productivity and more innovation out of them.
So what is your professional tip, and how would you tell innovation leaders during these complex times? What should they do? And the unknown times demands so much more from them. So what would be your first like professional tip?
My number one tip is, in order for a leader to not be reactive, which is what we probably saw 90% of leaders, whether it be governmental officials or company leaders or small business owners, a lot of them reacted. But we also can look and learn from the individuals and the companies that were thriving over the last year, that really excelled, that capitalized on everything that was going on. And being capitalistic during a crisis is not a bad thing, as long as you're producing things of value to other organizations and individuals and services. So it's really important to understand the distinction, the subtle distinction of what makes them different, right? And it really doesn't just boil down to, oh, they had better mentors or they had a Harvard MBA, right? It boils down to their mindset. I don't care if you're Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha, Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. The only thing that defines them differently is how they think, how they look at the world, what their belief system is. So again, it sounds different, right? I'm going to preach mindset as a core element of being a better leader. The reason I teach people, at least initially, before we do any sort of true kind of team leadership training or any sales training, is really to go through a core mindset exercise, because it's hyper important to spend the time to give your mind access to other ways of thinking. So when a crisis does hit, not only are you a great growth leader, some people are great change leaders, but it's really important to be a great transformational leader and a great crisis leader. That's what this is. And most people don't think about, hey, I want to be a leader one day, or I want to start a company. But I also have to teach myself how to potentially navigate through a crisis, right? There are very few founder-led large companies today. There are various reasons why they maybe got off the plane or the ship at some point. But the ones that really impressed me over the last year, politics aside, are Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Benioff, right? They've been there since day one at Facebook and Salesforce, respectfully. And they've managed through so many different types of events throughout the world, right? The pandemic being the most recent one. How they managed employees, how they reacted to their employees, how they took care of their employees. Yes, they had the finances for it, but they also spent a great deal of time beforehand putting in the work. So that's what mindset and mental fitness is. It's putting in the work before the events actually happen, right? That's what personal development is. It's doing the work before something happens so that you are actually prepared and you're extremely strong, in the same way that we compared being physically strong to going out and exercising, playing sports. We have to be mentally strong for those moments. so that we can take the right action, we can make the right decisions, we can have conversations with our employees, with our teams in ways that are incredibly meaningful to them, and that they know that they're protected. They know that they're going to be there when things don't go well. Not every single business is built to survive, but the best CEOs know how to adapt. And there are countless examples over the last 18 months that are incredibly important to learn from and understand that the world is hyper different. And we're going to have various events probably over the next 20 or 30 years that are going to ask for such leaders. So do the work now and put yourself in a position to actually become the CEO, become the leader that you know the world is going to need. So when those moments hit, there's going to be zero doubt in your mind what the right action is.
And tell me more about mindset. How do you see the core elements of the right mindset?